Well, it's a good morning, everybody. It's been a little while since I've been out here with cameras, so here we go. Hey, today's project is digging a trench for an electrical power line. Okay. Our electrical contractors advise that it's probably not the best use of your funds to have an electrician dig a trench. So I'm going to go ahead and sweat equity that myself. Did a little test hole, I'll show you in a second. 18 inches deep. For the distance I have to run it, not a big deal. So let me presume I know how long this needs to be while I'm showing you where the trench is going to go, and then wander it all the way back to where the power is going to be coming from. Okay, so that's right over my shoulder. That's where it's going to be coming from. And the idea here is that we have to provide new and appropriate, that's the key word here, appropriate power for our outbuilding, our shed. And in order to do that, we need to run some new lines. The original lines are buried underneath that concrete deck. So obviously inaccessible, and actually that would have been a much longer trench, so I'm kind of happy for that. So without much ado, hopefully I'll have enough other shots so that you can see the context of this. Let's get started. Well, alrighty, I'm going to try to show you by walking it the detail of the path that the power conduit is going to go. Okay, so walk with me. So all the way over here is this box, and it's got a couple little romex wires going down under it that once upon a time I dug up some stuff over there and I found them, the two romex wires buried underground. What they're going to do, I believe, is come out of here, come up to right underneath the shingles, and work their way down, do a little U-turn around the light fixture, come over here to the corner. From the corner, come down from this corner, wander across my concrete and rock pathway, landscape timber, and over here the corner of the building that right now I got my shovel in, and my shovel has an 18-inch and a 20-inch mark on it, so I have an idea of the depth. Like I said, according to code here, it needs to go to 18 inches because of the frost line. And I have to chuckle at that because we rarely get like even snow here, let alone hard freezes. So oh well, it is the code. Okay, well, this is going to be the starting point. And let's see if I can do this. I put a string line up so I'd stay on course. So that's my target, right over yonder. All right, let's get started. think I'm gonna put it in time lapse. Okay, well, that appears to be 7 of the total 22 feet I need to do in my first sprint. And I'll have to check the timestamps to see how long that took. Probably somewhere between a half hour and 45 minutes. Not too bad. Whew. Okay, well, some of you might be wondering why on a August just barely afternoon that's very nearly 80 degrees here. Let's see what this thing updates to. It's not updating. Throw the app away. Start the app again. Yeah, 78. Why on earth am I out here, well, sweating profusely and wearing a long sleeve shirt? Well, it goes back to autoimmune issues, disease stuff. So I'm pretty sure asthma is a autoimmune thing. Another one that's popular with skin is vitiligo. It goes off and eats the cells, the melatonin, I believe, melatonin. I wish I knew my body chemistry, sorry. Anyway, the stuff that makes you tan, those cells get eaten away, which means super thirsty, which means you are more likely after long exposure to burn because you can't tan. And sadly, I've had 1 and 2 instances of skin cancer. So Brenda bought me, I think I now have 4 UV shirts. And I know they're effective because one time I was wearing one out in the front yard doing my hands and knees weeding, and I didn't pay attention to how high up my back they were riding. So between my belt line and where the shirt was, I got a really nasty sunburn. Go figure. So anyway, yeah, I'm fully convinced that these shirts, my other non-UV shirts, they help, obviously, because I'm not in direct exposure to the sun. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Now, let's see. I've got, come on, watch. Help me, work with me. I got about another 40 minutes I'm going to put into this today. And I'm going to call it. I'll pick this up later. It's, like I said in the previous cut, I've accomplished 7 feet beyond my start hole. The total length that the string line is running is 22 feet. So essentially I have 8 of those 22 feet covered this time, and I'm going to try to get as close as I can to the landscape timber today. We'll see if I can accomplish that. And then that just leaves the hard work of pulling the landscape timber out of the way, getting a couple of those big concrete blocks out of the way, and then shoving the rocks around, not a big deal, and then probably just cutting the landscape fabric that's down underneath that. So all that's going to be in phase 2. So for now, I'm done taking my little water break, and now I'm going to go back to time lapse. Hope you enjoy watching somebody sweat. Oh, what a day. Well, there you go. I had about a 1 foot diameter start hole. I believe I've gotten out here about 9 or 10 feet. If the whole thing's 22, I'm just about halfway. Yay. Target depth, I've been trying to indicate. Let me walk this up to the camera. I went ahead and marked, flip my little monitor down here. Ooh, it's gonna be hard to see. There it is in the sunshine. I have a 18-inch mark and a 20-inch mark. And I figure as long as I'm at least 18, and if I go to 20, then according to the electricians, the code says it has to be 18 inches deep over the top of the conduit, and they're putting in basically a 3/4 inch OD conduit. So if I go to 20 inches, I should be completely fine. And that little bit of fine tuning is not going to be that big of an issue. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to pick back up on this tomorrow. We have some other errands and tasks we have to accomplish. So we'll see how it goes. So for right now, this is what Martin's doing today. Woo! See ya. I'll either tack on to the end of this one or it'll be a separate video. Probably tack on to this one. You'll know because I'll change shirts. Well, folks, yeah, so we made arrangements with the contractors. They will be out here 2 days from now. Just happens to be Monday. It also just happens to be late in the afternoon because we had a bunch of things other things we had to do. And it's of course 82 degrees. So I usually try to knock it off around 80, but it is what it is. So this is now the second phase of this recording. We're trying to, as you may recall, get a trench dug over here so a new power conduit can be fed from off of the corner of the building over to the shed. And now we're going to get busy and I'm going to try to finish it. But I think the odds are much more that I will make it to the wood. I'll probably pull the wood out. I might move some of the pavers, but making more progress is the plan for today. So stand by. Okay, so I'm looking at this, and as I see my string line coming over 1, 2, 3, at least 3 of those pavers, I was going to take the one I'm standing on out, but I don't think I'm going to now. We shouldn't need that. But first I'm going to remove the rocks, then the pavers, then I'll cut the landscape fabric for the right trench shape, pull the timber, and then start digging again. I don't know, I may have cut my head off on this one, whatever. Okay, folks, let's see if auto exposure can brighten this up a little bit. There, no, that's the side. There you go. There, had to release the ND filters a bit. So I found 2 roots, and they're pretty much right at the 18-inch depth, but I'm going to clear them out, so if I have to go deeper, I can. So that's what you see me fussing on in the time lapse. Okay, here we go. Right. Okay, all right. Okay, folks. Ding. This is the, essentially it's the day 2 wrap. Yeah, I think I could have finished it, but I would have been El Supremo wiped out. Not that I'm not wiped out like it is right now, but in any case, you know, it's really nice to have a life partner that loves you and cares for you, because she said to me, you know, you could finish that off in the cool of the morning. Of course, she's 1,000% correct, but, you know, there was that side of me that said, finish, gotta finish today. No, I don't. So, I don't know, I got a few inches to go. I'm done. See you tomorrow. Okay, folks, what we have today is the 3rd and final day of the trench preparation. And I'm showing you Brenda's nice coleus, but more to the point, I'm showing that instead of being 82 degrees, this morning it's closer to 65. Okay. Okay, as you can tell, we're pretty close to the edge of the building, and we're not quite to depth there. But one of the questions we had is, see all the white pipes? Well, the downspout goes into and ties into that drain down there, and there's a pipe down under yonder, right where I'm kind of in through here somewhere. There's a pipe that actually runs underground before I built the pathway. It goes kind of out by the corner of the fence down there, and then continues out to the front yard to drain. We just want to make sure we don't, that we don't hit that underground drain pipe. Okay, back to time lapse. Big rock. Well, okay. Now here we go, folks. Check this out. We made a little bridge there for Charlie. But there, trench is done for now. Well, there you have it, folks. The goal was to pre-dig this trench. It's got to be 18 inches above the top of the conduit, so I dug it somewhere between 18 and 20. It's probably deeper in places. From the corner of the house down over yonder to the corner of the shed. And as you recall, it took two main work days where I put about 2 hours in on each day, and then it took me a few minutes just to finish that today. And I had already done my start hole down over yonder. So, okay, guys are supposed to be here tomorrow, and we'll see if I actually need to do any more preps in the shed, because inside, and I'm not going in there because I'm pretty embarrassed at how crappy it looks. But anyway, there's an old circuit breaker panel in there that needs to be replaced, because when it was looked up, the brand has had apparently a history of causing fires. And even though this building has been here longer than we have, we want to replace it so that, going forward after we're out of here, if they don't remodel this thing with a big yellow machine, if somebody wants to buy it, it'd be nice to have stuff that's modern, up to code, safe, all that. Okay, so yeah, there you go. That's digging the trench, or I think I'm calling this video trenching for the electrical or electricians or shed power, whatever. Okay, so I've been really hit or miss of late on things like, please comment, love the comments, like the likes too, can't miss with those. I posted a question in the description of my previous video. I should pay attention to how many people watch this on computers, on TVs, or mobile devices. I don't know, when I'm watching YouTube on my TV, I don't see the descriptions. When I'm watching on my computer, I have that option. So I'm just wondering, how many people read the descriptions of the videos that I post? I do put a lot of, I don't know, some more of this, essentially just describing what's going on and maybe the rationale for it. Yeah, like and comment, comments yay or nay, either way, it doesn't matter. Just having that feedback helps me out a great deal. Okay, so enough of that. See you guys next time. Alrighty then. So on electrical for shed power installation day, we start at the former box, and instead of my original idea that it was going to go from the box to the lowest level of the shingles, it's actually going to go right up to one more level, which will facilitate taking it all the way to the end. And of course we can't see that from here because of the umbrella. So continuing, so it'll come out under the solar panel and then go to the corner. From the corner it'll go into the trench, and the boys are currently drilling the hole that the new conduit's going to go into the building, and the other gent is in the process of wrapping up putting the two new 8-foot ground stakes into the ground. Well, that's what used to be there. And in with the new. And a little addition to my trench. we've got 2 new ground posts. Oh, I'm in the way. Okay, so after a couple of hours and a couple of parts runs, that's the new panel out here in the shed. And got a new ground wire that's working its way down outside. Let's go outside. So that's where the power comes out. And the ground line is all the way down there. And go to ND clear. So the ground line goes to that new stake. There it is. And then there's a trench that goes over here to the second stake. So now we got new grounding. And backing up here.
Because I got a feeling that tie down is going to be.
Okay, so picking that up, this is how the conduit is running now. And now, let's lighten this up. Now that's what's going on in the box. All right, getting close. Well, okay there, folks. The former switch that went to the no longer functional light, long story, never mind. The switch has now been made an outlet, and now we have this going on, and that goes up to that conduit. There we go. I couldn't see it. And then the conduit. They did a really nice job bending that with a heat gun so that it would go around nicely. And as I'm walking over the steps, trying not to fall, there we go. So this conduit comes out over here, goes down, down into the ground, and then down the trench, back into the dark. And down here, I'm turning off ND filters. There's, like I said a moment ago, there's ground rod 1. And just down over here is ground rod 2. And the conduit comes up the post. And now we'll run around, go in the shed. Ground wire comes up. Gets bonded to the water pipe and comes up into the panel. And now I've got the new panel. So we are good to go. Well, all right. We got things reversed around a little bit. I've got the couch facing the house, so the guys would have clear access to do their job. Anyway, this has been a concern of mine ever since I found the wires underground when we took an old tree stump out. Very tall tree that we had removed years ago because, well, if it had fallen towards either the shed or the house, it would have done you know, it would have essentially destroyed the shed and would have done really bad damage to the house. So we had that tree taken down, and I eventually dug the stump out. I don't know if I don't think I've posted any pictures of that. That was before I was doing video stuff. Anyway, yeah, the guys are done. If you're in Washington State, Eco is the company I'm using. They were recommended to us by our son. They are doing some commercial work for him, and then they did a whole boatload of residential for he and his girl at their new place. And not only do they do electrical, but they also do plumbing. And they did a whole boatload of plumbing at his place, and they did an annual $50 hot water tank purge, not pump out, cleaning. They ran water through it until it ran clear, and it did. So anyway, there you go. This is the end of the trench for power for the shed. Trenching for shed power. I think that's the actual name of the video. So again, like please if you enjoyed this video. If you lasted until the end, good on ya. Thank you very much. Comment, like, share if you'd like. We'll see you next time on What's Martin Doing Today? You never know. Okay, so this is the morning after the completion of the electrical work. So in order to get things back to normal, it's time to fill the trench back in, of course. So even though when I talked with the guys yesterday, there's nothing in the code that says I have to do this, but I remember back when this spot used to be a big tree that we had taken out because it was dropping stuff on both the buildings, and if it blew over, it would have destroyed either building. I had to find and be very careful about the original two relatively improper bare romex cables, not in a conduit, just two romex cables that had gone from over there to here, which was functionally replaced yesterday. That was the whole reason for this project. And the fact that it went from 4-gauge aluminum to the romex and went to a fire hazard of a circuit breaker box. So anyway, all of that to say, when I was looking underground for those cables, I remember having to be super careful about it, because obviously I didn't want to shove my shovel into a live circuit. So in order to help the next guy that has to dig this stuff up, even though it's not required, and even though my cables are in conduit, I thought I would do something that I saw one of the other YouTube guys that I watch all the time. Even though this is do not enter, this goes back to when my youngest was actually in a police explorers group. I don't know why I ended up with a roll of caution tape, but I did. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, after I put about 6 inches of dirt back in the trench, I'm going to run this down it so somebody has an idea that there's power down there. Okay, okay, so what was I just thinking about? I was wondering if I should go back to the process of time-lapse and having to do the supplemental audio for the time-lapse, or if I just run this all in real time and then speed it up in editing. Although I'd really like to do that, I don't want to have to sit there and work with a 2-hour long thing of video. So anyway, there you go. Let's get started. That's what Martin's doing today. Okay, as you can probably see, those three, I call them pavers, whatever, that I just put in are certainly not level. So I guess I have to switch that. That's next. Okay, well, I am trying to hide, but as not terribly wide as this camera's lens is, I got as far out of the way as I could. Anyway, hey guys, check it out. I may have actually used more of my fill dirt for the path than I should because I wasn't able to bring all of the remaining grass flats that were carved out to the proper grade. And then it turned out that the three slabs over here were too high. Go figure. Okay, so there you go. You know, this area is going to have to recover, and I will probably be adding fill of some variety, some kind of soil or sand or something, dirt, along the way. And there you have it. You may also note that this landscape timber sticks up a little bit. That's because it's warped. I couldn't really jam it any further down in the hole. Well, I had highfalutin plans to finish this up and then start mowing and trimming. Not today. I'll have to do that on a much cooler morning, maybe tomorrow. Okay, so there you go, folks. This was the trenching for shed power video. This was the, I don't know which number installment. It was completed yesterday, all the electrical work, and today I thought, you know, I want to get my path back in order and get this trench filled in so it's no longer a trip hazard or a fall hazard. Okay, so that's it for right now. See you guys next time. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Okay. Yeah, doesn't look too horrible. This, the end of this landscape timber is up pretty high, but that's because it's warped. The other end of it is actually pretty close to the right level. Anyway, those are the three pavers, and the trench in the lawn, such as it was, didn't save enough of the top grass, and I think I used a little too much dirt over here when I was trying to reestablish the grade to be able to fill the trench over here in high enough. Oh, here's one perspective.